Uh, we start the third session now. Nuclear energy trend in India and its resource exploration and national policy in energy resource in India. May I call upon Professor A.M. Popre? Popre Sahib is there? Sir, please come on and occupy the chair. And Dr. P.K. Gupta, Regional Director, Atomic Mineral Division. On the pursuits of nuclear energy resources in Central India Shield. Mr. Sri P. Gupta, please.
Thank you, Sandeep. My presentation, please. Good afternoon to all. मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आप लोग जो है खाना खाने के बाद में फुल एनर्जी में होंगे और मैं अभी न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी के बारे में आपको बताऊंगा. माय टॉपिक इज परस्यूट ऑफ न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज इन द सेंट्रल इंडिया. बिफोर आई स्टार्ट विद द मेन टॉपिक I must say what is nuclear energy and the resources of the nuclear energy and what is the condition where we stand in the nuclear energy resources. So those who don't know how the nuclear energy is produced, so to initiate with that, next slide please. So this is nuclear energy. When a neutron bombards on a nucleus or a fissile element, then it will split into two elements of the lower atomic numbers. So, and in the meanwhile, the lot of energy is being generated. So, for example, a neutron is bombarded on the U-235, so around 200 megawatt million electron volt energy is generated, which is equal to the explosion of a 1 TNT molecule, which release 30 electron volt only. So you can see the tremendous amount of energy is being generated when a fission takes place. So fission is a chain reaction, and when this chain reaction occurs in a reactor, so it produces a tremendous amount of energy. So that can be utilized, this energy can be utilized by to heat the water, and ultimately this water will in turn run the turbine, and once the turbine is rotated, the electricity is generated. That's how the nuclear energy generates the electricity. Nuclear energy is the safe and clean energy. If we'll see the worldwide scenario, it accounts 13.5% of the total energy. And you can see it generate the, जैसा कि मेरे पहले जो सुबह साथियों ने बोला कि न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी के बहुत सारे अदर इम्पैक्ट भी होते हैं. I will say it is a very safe, clean energy, and it produces a minimum waste as compared to any other sources you can see here. You can see here, this is the solar energy which also generates the very minimum waste. This is the position of nuclear energy, whereas the other fossil fuel and the other sources of energy, it generates the lot of waste. And that waste we have to accommodate in some or other way. Whereas for the nuclear energy waste, it requires a hardly space. So, if you see the energy use per person, so if we'll see this India's position, we are lying somewhere here. So we are consuming about say 5 to 6,000 kilowatt per hour energy, where as compared with the Sweden and Taiwan or other countries. So with the consumption of the energy, a country is known as developed or underdeveloping like that. So comparison of the fuel characteristics, I will not go much detail into it. We can see here for 1000 megawatt nuclear energy power plant, it needs only the movement of 12 trucks of the uranium fuel per year, as compared to when we use the coal for the same megawatt generation, it requires the 380,000 tons of truck load of the ore. This is the current status of the reactor all over in the world. We are having the 410 reactor in the world and generating about 368,000 megawatt electricity. In India, we are having the 22 reactors and generating 6,780 megawatt unit per year. So this is the condition where you can see here, the France is very much ahead. The USA is having the 93 reactors and generating 95,835 megawatt unit. So if you'll see the overall electrical position in the India, so 57% comes from the fossil fuel and 41% from the renewable energy resources, including the hydroelectric, and the nuclear energy, it counts only the 2%. So in India, we have got the 3-stage power program. We have got the 22 operating reactor right now, as I said, and these are the pressurized heavy water reactor as well as the light water water reactors. And in the stage 2, we will use this fuel in the fast breeder reactor. So fast breeder reactor, we are having one, it is 40 megawatt fast breeder reactor in the Kalpakkam, and this fast breeder reactor will utilize the uranium 238 as well as the thorium in the blanket. So this fissile material will produce more, this fertile material will produce more fissile material by which we can use this fissile material in the next stage. So apart from that, since we have got the lot of thorium resources in India, we are having one 30 kilowatt Kamini reactor. It is under development. It is operating, and one 300 megawatt reactor is under development at BRC. Once we will finalize and we will use this thorium as a fuel, then we won't have any dearth of the power. So we can see here, this is the overall scenario, the distribution of the reactors. The red one is the operating one, and the yellow or orange one is the new series where the new reactors are planned. So if you'll see the global resources and production of the uranium, we are here. We have got 3.89 million tons of uranium oxide and producing about 400 metric ton per annum. And our requirement is about 1250 metric ton per annum. So remaining we are importing from the other countries. So if you'll see the resource position in the India, in 1987 when I joined this organization, it was only 72,000 tons of U3 oxide. Now we have got 3.89 lakh tons of the uranium oxide in our hand. And production is almost similar since 2011. So for the whatever reserve we are having right now, it will be sufficient for 73 years. And if you will utilize the thorium in the closed cycle and fast breeder reactor, it will last for 250 years. So we can say long-term energy security. For long-term energy security, thorium has to be prominent component for the Indian energy mix. So if you will see the nuclear fuel cycle, so it starts with this surface and subsurface exploration. This is this part you can see here, and then the mining and milling, conversion into the UF6, and which is in turn used in the reactor in the form of pellet or the fuel bundle. And whatever waste is generated, it is kept at one place in the assembly, and it is again recycled, because in the reactor the whole fuel is not spent at a time. So that remaining fuel is reprocessed and again it is used in the reactors. So AMD's position, if you will see, AMD, we are in the forefront as well as in the last end of the nuclear cycle program. We are doing the subsurface and surface exploration here, and also we are having then the mandate of the AMD. As I said, we are playing an important role in the nuclear fuel cycle in forefront as well as the back end of the nuclear fuel cycle. And also the site selection for the reactor. The main mandate of the AMD is to augment the resources of the uranium, thorium and other atomic minerals required for the nuclear energy program. So if you will see the state-wide distribution of the uranium resources, total resources we have got 3.89 million tons of the U3 oxide, and the largest comes from the Andhra Pradesh, that is 231,000 tons of U3 oxide. In the central region, we are having about 4,500 tons of uranium oxide in the form of this deposit: Jajawal, Bodal, Mogra, Bhandari Tola and Dummadhabi. So major activities of the central region. So we are having the Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra and parts of in our region. But as we know, the most of the area of the MP and Maharashtra is covered by the Deccan Tract. So that area is not much useful for us. So remaining area is about 70,000 square kilometer, and we are having the thrust areas of exploration in the Khairagarh and Chhattisgarh basin, Sarguja crystalline and Tanchir zone of CGGC, Satpura Gondwana basin, and apart from that we are also carrying out the exploration for rare metal and rare earth in the pegmatites of the Jharsuguda, Odisha, particularly for the niobium, tantalum, beryllium and lithium. And we have got the good deposit also in the Jashpur districts of Chhattisgarh in the form of riverine placer. So coming to the geological domains of the central India, I would like to show you where we are working right now. We are working in the main three domains, that is Khairagarh Chhattisgarh basin. This is this area, and then the Chota Nagpur Granite Complex, CGGC, this area, and the Gondwana basin. So in the Khairagarh Chhattisgarh basin, we are working for the structural control vein type of deposit mineralization. Particularly, we have got the good deposit in the Bodal area in the Pitapani volcanics and Bijli rhyolite, Bhandari Tola, Jangalpur and Bijepar area. Recently, we have got the good anomalies and good breakthrough in the Bijepar area, Gondia district, Maharashtra. And apart from that, in the Singora basin, near Juba, Bhanjapali and Bichia area, we are getting the good mineralization along the fracture veins in the leucogranite. And apart from that, the sandstone type of mineralization is recorded in the Bortlav sandstone of the Mogra, Maharashtra, where we have got the small deposit as well. Then the unconformity type of mineralization, it is recorded in the Chandrapur sediments of the Chhattisgarh supergroup near Chitakhol area. Chitakhol lies near north of the Janjgir Chapa, and Bortlav sandstone in the Nalpani area. Then in the Indravati Abujbar basin, we have worked for the structurally controlled vein type of uranium mineralization and also for the unconformity related uranium mineralization, and we got the good significance values near the Silak Jodi fault zone, sir. Then in the CGGC, we are working for the shear control mineralization in the Sarguja crystalline, where we got the uranium deposit at Jajawal, Devri and Dumat. That is in the near Dhabi area, near to the Pratappur. And recently we started working in the Tanchir zone near Ghatbera, Murmur and Chapalwa area. And we have got the good breakthrough in these area, got the good surface anomalies, surface manifestation, and now we are probing for the subsurface continuity in this part of the Tanchir zone. Apart from that, we are also working for the migmatite hosted mineralization in the Sarguja crystallines, and we have got the good indications in the Jhapar, Jaljalia, Kundru, Dhumarpan and Piparpan, Sundarpur area of the Chhattisgarh, and also in the Sonbhadra area. Then in the Gondwana basin, here in the central region, we are working for the sandstone type of uranium mineralization in the Motur formation, near the Kachar Dharangmao area, Kalapani area, near that falls in the Betul district, MP. Then this is the, I want to show here the geological domains where we have got the uranium reserves of about 3,000 tons of the uranium oxide in the Bodal and Bhandari Tola area. This is the area. And this is the Bijepar area where we are working in the Bijli rhyolite, and we are getting the good correlatable mineralization in the Bijli rhyolite in the form of vein or the fracture zone. And apart from that, there structural bound unconformity related mineralization that I told in the Nalpani area, and we have established about 900 meter of the strike length in the Nalpani area. And apart from that, in the Chhattisgarh basin, we got the good mineralization in the Rehatikol arenites in the Juba Panjapali area. This is this area. This is the southeastern part of the Chhattisgarh basin. Then in the CGGC, as I told you, that we have got about 2,000 tons of uranium oxide in the Bodal Jajawal Dumat area. This is the Wadraf Nagar, and the Jajawal lies somewhere here. And we have got the significant mineralization in the Devri area as well, which is the eastern extension of the Jajawal area. And apart from that, the migmatite hosted mineralization is recorded in the north of the Wadraf Nagar in the Jaljalia, Naniagar sector in the North Sarguja shear zone. Then in the south of this Wadraf Nagar and the southeast of the Wadraf Nagar, we got the mineralization, but it is in the lensoidal form at the Kundru, Dhumarpan, Piparpan, Sundarpur area and Rattapara block. Then recently we started working in the Tan shear zone. This is the Tan shear zone. And near that Pendra Road, this is the location of Pendra Road. We got the very good surface anomalies, and now we started probing the surface anomaly to subsurface, and we are getting the good subsurface correlatable mineralization in the boreholes as well. Then in the Satpura Gondwana basin, this is the part of the Satpura Gondwana basin where we are working in the Motur formation near Kachar Dharungmau area, and we have almost established 9 correlatable lenses in this area, and we are going to have a good deposit over there also as well. And then apart from that, the RMRE, that is rare metal and rare earth element exploration also we are doing, and we are prospecting for the niobium, tantalum, beryllium and lithium, apart from the yttrium bearing minerals in the various geological domains. And particularly xenotime, we are working in the Jashpur district of Chhattisgarh, and we are getting the good xenotime deposit over there. Columboid tantalite, we are working in the near Jharsuguda, in Pandkimal area, Odisha. And monazite total reserve, if we see, we have got the 12.7 million tons of monazite, which is sufficient for, as I said, if we extract the thorium from it, it will be sufficient for the 273, 275 years. So these are the some peaks of the rare metal and rare earth elements. This is the columbite tantalite, how it looks, and this is xenotime, beryl, lepidolite, lithium bearing, and this is also spodumene, lithium bearing, and these are the some glimpses of the recovery plant we have in the Marlagarla as well as in the Kunkuri, and how this is the table concentrate concentration we are doing in the recovery plant at Chhattisgarh, Jashpur district. Apart from that, the beach sand exploration also AMD is carrying out. And the total resources of the beach sand in the heavy minerals is about 1277 million tons. Out of that, monazite accounts for about 1%, that is 12.77 million tons. That's all. Thank you.
Nice presentation, Dr. Gupta. Open for discussion. Any questions?
Sir, outside it is available, but it is not that economic. And good amount is available in the beach sand.
Any other question? I'll ask this in Satpura Gondwana basins. We have also got some shows in Talcher formations, ne? Satpura Gondwana.
Talcher, we have not got the uranium mineralization. Talcher, we are working in the Moturs, because Motur is favorable for the for us. It is for our interest.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you very much. Now we will start the session. As Dr. Yamuna Singh requested, and the organizing secretary also accepted for it, so I called Dr. Yamuna Singh for his presentation first. The brief introduction of the Dr. Yamuna Singh. He is an eminent X-ray diffraction geologist in the country, and apart from that, he has worked for the RMRE minerals as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all. distinguished chairpersons, and I see Nigam sir, then Rasik Ravindra sir, Chamyal sir, and many other distinguished scientists. Dr. M. Kirai sir is here. So I will start straight to my presentation. But before that, I would like to thank organizers for giving me opportunity to be here and interact with you all. Here in the title, 3-4 topics have been jumbled up, because what is the resource position of rare earth elements? Because rare earths are considered vitamins for the modern society. So this is the background. So what is the resource position of rare earths in India, and what are the challenges involved in its value addition? Because that is very important. Unless there is a value addition, it is not going to be of much use. Then the demand chain, supply demand chain, then the implications for energy transition, because rare earth have got tremendous role to play for energy transition, and then how they can be playing a greater role in self-reliant India, or see centenary year India for sustainable development. So this is what I have planned, and briefly I will go into that. We all are familiar with the life cycle of a mine project, but apart from this, there is much more behind that in terms of this rare earth industry. So in the rare earth industry, there are 3 main segments: upstream segment, then the midstream segments, and downstream segments. Unless we address issues involved in all the segments, whatever resources we are having, it is not going to make impact in the growth of the country, or self-reliant India, or centenary year India. We say that India is ready for centenary year 2047. So how it can be playing a greater role? So for the mine project we know, but in the rare earth industry, the upstream part comes in the mine project, but what about the midstream and the downstream? So this is the resource, various sources of RE in Indian scenario. In India, we are exploiting rare earth from secondary sources. When we say secondary sources, basically the B sand deposits and the stream placers. So derived from the hard rock weathering, and by natural process, they are concentrated along the coastal stretches of India and in some streams in the central India. But the both that are having contrast. Contrast, one is a very good source for lighter rare earth elements that comes through the monazite, whereas the stream placers, though they are smaller in volume, but they are very critical for balancing the rare earth balance. So they are the source for heavy rare earths, and heavy rare earth, their quantum of requirement is less in terms of the volume, but they are indispensable in certain sectors. So this is how these 2 sources are important in their own merit. But hard rock resources, mining has not yet started, but 2 major resources have been identified. One in the Kamthai carbonatite by MSPL. So resource is there, and they have done work. But before commencing the exploitation, beneficiation, extractive metallurgy part need to be done. So it is in the development stages. So unless it is established, flow sheet is established, mining cannot commence. But resource is there, and these 2 deposits, one is the Kamthai and another is the Ambadongar carbonatite complex. So these are the 2 prominent hard rock based resources hosted in the carbonatites. Apart from these 2, there are other promising areas in carbonatites from other belt. So that I am not going to uh, covering this talk. Then there are minor stream placers. So okay, thank you. I was struggling to pinpoint. So this is for changing the slide and okay, thank you. So these are the various sources for rare earths, and another upcoming is the Sivana ring complex area. It is the low grade, whatever results are available as of now, but the importance of this lies in as a source for heavy rare earths. So the ratio, because heavy rare earth means is not 100% heavy rare earth, there will be lighter rare earths also, but here ratio is very good, 60% LRE and 40% HRE. So that, because it is having a higher basket value, so though recovery may be low, but still it is important if it works out. So this is under evaluation. So light rare earth resources, heavy rare earth resources, and then I will go in, to other aspects. What are the major industries that consume rare earths? So we can have a look at this, say the phosphor, it requires both LRE and HRE. Here we can say the 24% LRE, HRE requirement is 76%. So there should be matching production of the ore that contains HRE and LRE. Then the metal and alloys, 100% LRE. So very good. This gives the idea actually how we have to strike a balance between the lighter rare earths and heavier rare earths. Depending on the industry, it is feeding. Then the catalyst, LRE. Then coming to ceramics, LRE 47, HRE 53%. Polishing powder, LRE 100%. Then the glass additives, LRE 94%, HRE 6%. Permanent magnet, LRE 92%, HRE 8%. So as I mentioned in the previous projection, LRE is the major component, but HRE is vital. It cannot be substituted by others. And that gives a special property to the finished product. Because of that, cost of the HRE is higher, much higher compared to the LRE. And among all the, 15 plus 2, 17, so one promethium does not occur in nature because of very short half-life. So out of 16 RE, if we look into the criticality, because they are among so many others, these rare earths are also critical. And criticality of these 16 RE, we see the 5 are the most critical RE. We can see the neodymium, europium, yttrium, terbium, and dysprosium. And out of these 5 critical RE, neodymium and dysprosium are the most critical, highly critical in terms of the availability and the supply risk. And because of this kind of situation, world over, a new concept has been given that is called the resource nationalism. So those countries which are having adequate resources of these RE, they are coined or they are grouped as a resource nationalist country. So there is a big race in the world over to acquire more and more RE and become more resource nationalist country. So these 5 are having very special requirement, and because of their supply risk in the world market, nobody wants to give. So every country is struggling to generate in own indigenous resources, and not only identifying the resources, but midstream and the downstream product have to be made. Value addition has to be there. I will give a very layman's example. In my kitchen, all the grocery items are there. But if I am not able to serve the food on the dining table, so it is lying in the store, but we don't have a skilled person to cook the food. So in the case of REs also, it is there. We are having resources, and unless there is a value addition, unless we are able to make the intermediate product and make them available in the market, it is of no much use. Yes, I am having, but I have food, but raw material, but I am starving. So this is the available resource as on September 2022 in Indian context. So monazite resource, these are under commercial mining. So from beach sand deposits and stream placers, and mostly in the Chota Nagpur gneiss complex terrain. Then apart from this, some genotim bearing concentrates, about 2,000 tons are identified. Then genotim bearing heavy mineral concentrates, 97.68 tons, this is stockpile. Then rare earth oxide from the Amba Dongar carbonatite. Then 7.36 million tons of ore from Kamthai carbonatite with average grade of 1.62% rare earth oxide. Okay, so here ore is given and here rare earth oxide, and in that individual RE resource has also been calculated: lanthanum, cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, samarium, europium, and this ultimately we have to go for individual resource, individual metal resource estimation, because this will give the idea how to proceed for consumption, and different industry need different metal. So this is needed for that, but it is in situ resource. This has to be extracted from the ore body. So after ore mining, the real problem starts. We have to take out the individual metal, purify it, and make it ready for consumption by the respective industry. So value addition has to be there at all stages. Apart from this, there are some other this Sivana ring complex, rare earth oxide, 36,000 tons of rare earth oxide has been indicated, and some this Samchampi carbonatite, yttrium 3,644 tons, and the Kanyaluka also, the genotim mineral resource is there from the gravel. I have to speed up. And most critical 5 RE, so where from they will come? See, from stream placers and beach sand. Nigam sir asked one question. So actually the monazite is the main mineral that comes from the beach placers, but from stream sediments also. In the central India, we are basically taking out genotim, heavy mineral, so it is not pure. It also contains some monazite, so that also comes along with that. So this is added up to the main monazite inventory. So neodymium, then the dysprosium, heavy rare earth sources. So genotim mineral is important source for dysprosium, and the peralkaline granites of Sivana ring complex, this I mentioned. This is upcoming area in coming years, maybe 5 years, 10 years, this will be forming a good hard rock source, but it has got different challenges that also need to be addressed. Europium, Kamthai carbonatite, some data is available, so there is signature of that. Kanyaluka genotim, even monazite also contains europium. India is not lucky. Actually, the black monazite from the Bangladesh, they get a very good concentration of black monazite, gray monazite, and that is a very good source for europium. This is the most costly rare earth, but it is present 0.1 to 0.2% in beach sand monazite, and in the carbonatite also certain minerals have indicated a good concentration of europium. And the terbium, this is highly critical, dysprosium and terbium highly critical. So its source is again the genotim, yttrium comes because genotim is the main carrier of yttrium. And just to have a glance about this, what I mentioned, yttrium can come from the genoteam, but remaining remaining 4 highly critical metal, so neodymium can come from the monazite. Beach placer monazite contains very good, see up to 10–11% of neodymium is there. Europium, I was mentioning, in monazite contains 0.1, and monazite from Bhimanipatnam contains 0.61% europium. Then the terbium 0.03, low concentration. In the genoteam 0.5% is there, dysprosium 0.1, 0.5 and 4.5%. So the genoteam, basically the genoteam forms the source for 4 most critical rare earth metal, whereas the monazite forms source for neodymium along with the yttrium, lanthanum and cerium. This is just to give a glimpse about mode of occurrence. I am not going to explain. This is the beach placer mining, just to give a feeling. Then stream placers.
10 minute हो गए हैं.
Okay. Stream placers, deposits. Then what are the major challenges in the value addition? So the major neodymium boron magnet. So we are having the raw material, but we are not able to produce the magnet, and this forms the midstream product. And unless it is available in the market, there will be balance in the cost in the market. We have to look for the international market. We are this availability of raw material is the main reason for China's diamonds. But raw material is one component. Along with that, they are having the technology to produce the permanent magnet, and that is ultimately sent in the market. So this is one challenge. We have got the raw material, but technology is not there to produce value-added product. Then that needs upgradation of professional skill, especially in the downstream domain, so that developments are manifested in downstream domain of rare earth value chain. And non-availability of intermediate products in open market is another challenge, because this is giving a skewed position in the market. So we need to accelerate manufacturing of the intermediate products through technological innovations. Another is we have got adequate availability of individual RE. So our strength is the resource availability, but we need to cope up with the prominent intermediate products, and the current thrust is for clean energy, and these permanent magnets are required for generation of the clean energy, either through the solar panel or the turbines, like that. So they are in the turbine, REs are very important components. Then there is a need for massive investment in exploration also. Upgradation of technology, mitigation of environmental degradation due to mining. These are applicable to other mining sectors also. Adoption of environment-friendly technologies, handling social issues. This is gradually becoming more and more prominent issue. Rehabilitation of closed and abandoned mine sites. This is another exploration challenge. This red area, it's very difficult to take up any exploration area project. All the government institutes are facing those who are involved in the exploration. So this is map, not my own. It is given by Lele and Bharadwaj, 2014. So it's very difficult to take up. These are the potential areas, but we cannot take up exploration to augment resources. And India's goal is basically the centenary sustainable development. This is 2047. So for achieving India's centenary goal, a beginning can be made by GSI, MACL, AMD, IREL, BRC, NFC, DMRL, ARCI combined. So this needs, someone can be an augmenter of the resources, but someone has to be working on the value addition so as to complete the chain. And for technological innovation, we need to develop the ties with the countries like Japan, which are technologically much advanced. Japan does not have any resource of RE, but because of the technology, there is a mutual cooperation between the China and Japan. China is having resources. China is acquiring technology for value addition. And this these are the challenges involved, and I will not repeat this. I say thank you all for your patient listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Now the presentation is open for the questions. 1 or 2 questions, very quickly. Anybody?
Singh Saab, thank Chatterjee here. Singh Saab, would like to ask one question. News that they had imposed a crackdown on illegal mining, but actually the other insiders were saying that they are playing politics to jack up the RE prices internationally. So what is your reading about it?
Actually, China is the main hub for illegal. It is fact. And this has boosted up their rare earth stockpiling manifold. But before that, what you told about 2018 and 12, that was the turning point in the world RE market, because China was found illegally doing survey in exclusive economic zones of Japan. So when Japan took objection, so the main problem started with that time, what you mentioned. Afterward, the China told that, okay, we will not supply rare earth in the world market. By that time, China has already acquired by legal, illegal, by all means, the rare earth. So their mineral policy is very clear. You don't eat your own resources, you eat from outsiders, and say that I am not having anything. So this is what they were doing. They have acquired a lot of rare earth resources by illegal means from the surrounding countries, smaller countries. And that is called artisanal mining. So these laborers underpaid, very less money has been paid. So, and this was not known to anybody, because it was found doing exploration without the knowledge of Japan in its exclusive economic zone. So the problem started with there. Though China was getting technological advancement through Japan, Japan is not having any resources, nil I should say, but technologically very advanced. So he has taken, China has taken technical know-how, taken more, given less to Japan. This is the main problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Singh Saab, another thing, request, as I told, we'll keep your lecture sometime, online lecture sometime in July or August, depending upon your convenience on the topic. Online, GGS will organize your lecture. Thank you, sir.
We will work on that, sir, based on mutual convenience, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Yamuna Singh, for the nice presentation. Let us clap.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, our next speaker is, as the organizing committee has told me to include the name of Dr. P.K. Jain, whose presentation was tomorrow in the 9th technical session, but since he has got some work and going out of the station, so his presentation is included in this session. So I request Dr. P.K. Jain to kindly present his presentation.
Consider my request and allow me to present my paper in this session. As we were listening since morning, that's renewable, non-renewable, low carbon. So my topic is also low carbon economy, Philip to develop a sustainable market in India. Before that, little bit brief about me. I am Dr. P.K. Jain, retired from the Indian Bureau of Mines as a chief mineral economist. Basically, I am a geologist. And maximum time we were associated with the national mineral policy and so forth and so on. So in this paper also I tried to make that what are the issues presently are there for the conventional energy as well as the renewable energy, and what are the objective government of India or other agencies are having to make a zero carbon free India. Next please. So, as we know that the India is currently one of the fast growing economy in the world and home of almost 1/6 of the humanity by population wise. And its growth momentum is an integral part of the global development. And we know it that for this momentum of the growth, lot of energy is required. And along with this growth, the milestone will be to meet the provision of the basic services that is going to be not only the employment, but the other infrastructure also. As we are telling, either by the road or the rail or the water, transport, then 5G and so forth and so on. So everywhere there is a utilization of the resources and momentum to have a more demand of the energy is there. And this India historically contribute about accumulation of the greenhouse gases of about 4%, even though it's we are having approximately 17% of the global population. So though we talk very crucial way that the India is consuming maximum resources in comparison to the percentage of population in the world, but its story is different, and its per capita emission are well below the global average. And India has drawn far less than its fair share of global carbon budget. And this is a one depiction I made it, that's a percentage of the CO2 emissions from 1850 to 2019. So there's comparatively, if we see that our is coming somewhere in the part of some South Asia. Otherwise, everywhere there is a North America, Europe, and Latin America. Then all European countries of developed worlds are having the more emission than compared to the India. India is in that way very negligible emission of the CO2. And issue concerned with the climate change, because when we are going to consume more of the energy, obviously the challenge is going to be the climate changes. So in this, climate science has clearly established that global surface temperature increasing directly proportional to the cumulative emission and limiting to the rise of the global temperature, and require global greenhouse gas emission to be kept within a specific limit referred as a global carbon budget. And these are a story of the data that the world over there is in 2020 has remaining carbon budget of about 500 gigatons of the carbon dioxide to have 50% of the probability of the limiting global warming to the 1.5 degree centigrade related to the pre-industrial level, and remaining carbon budget is going to be 1,350 giga by carbon dioxide to have 50% of the probability of the limiting global warming to increase the 2% of the temperature in degree centigrade. So India will strive toward the net zero by 2070 through low carbon development in accommodating with the national circumstances. How we are going to achieve this? This we will see. That the share of the cumulative emission for the selected countries, if we see, that's again this dark blue patches is United States, approximately 50%, then 20% by the Russia, then Brazil, and ours is coming in the, India is very meager amount. It is coming 4.5% of the, this total cumulative emission. And region-wise per capita greenhouse emission. So this is also based on this working group report. Here we see again this greenhouse emission North America, then all European countries. And just in the South Asia, we are comparatively, this block is very less in this vertex, and others are developed countries are having more. So India is a national statement on the 26th conference of the parties in the 2021 Glasgow declared that it would reach to the net zero emission in the 2070. And climate change is present threat to the people everywhere in the planet, and a significant challenge to our collective development of the goals. It is in this context, India is in a national statement of the COP26 called for a global movement that is a life for the environment. And a goal for that momentum to push paradigm shifts in the way that world deal with the national resources to attribute the mindless and destructive consumption to one of the mindful and deliberative utilization. So we have to do the value addition, but the value addition should be mindful. It is not just to consume more resources or say we are converting from developing to developed world. And low carbon strategy for the development. India approach for the development of this LT-LED is underpinned by the following. These are the 4 key has been considered for the India. India has only a minimal historical contribution to the consumption of the global carbon budget. India has developing country with a low per capita energy use and with the considered energy need for the development. However, the mindful need to combat climate changes and the potential for the continued technology, competitive opportunity from low carbon development pathway, India will pursue low carbon development strategy within its fair share global carbon budget aim to meet in India's 2070 zero carbon net zero. India growth and development is also essential to build climate resilience and mitigate the climate risk and vulnerability that India will face, increasing the global warming. And this is also significant. That's consequently the need of the climate finance India's low carbon transition. India energy and fossil fuel strategy will have several pillars, including the inter alia, focus on the electrification of the energy services, low carbon electricity system, including one of the world's most ambitious program of adding wind and solar energy, energy efficiency both in the end use and energy delivery. That is a 2 low carbon green area, this resource is there. And India's progress towards the low carbon. India has constantly made ambitious commitment for the UNFCCC and Paris Agreement to keep multilateral platform climate changes and has a strong track record for the meeting this commitment. Recently, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, also has declared in this America, while there was a dialogues, that in this G20, only we were the country who is implementing all the agreement, including the Paris Agreement in toto. Then the rest of the other countries also. India is nationally determined contribution submitted for this inter alia committed to reduce the emission. In line with this commitment, emission intensity, India's GDP has already reduced by 24% from 2005 level to the 2016. And this indicates that India has overreached one of its national determined contribution. NDC announced its Paris Climate Summit by already meeting 40% of its power capacity with the non-fossil fuels and almost 9 years ahead of its target committed. The country is thus on the track of meeting the NDC target. Further, as the Prime Minister's Panch Mitra pledge, that is a COP26 also include the target of net zero emission by 2070. India updated 3 of this NDC in August 2020. That is a meet the 50% of the India's cumulative electric power installation capacity from non-fossil sources by 2030. Reduce the emission intensity of the GDP by 45% below 205 level to the 2030. To put forward, further propagate a healthy and sustainable way by living based tradition and value of the conservation and modernization, including through a mass movement of the lifestyle for the environment as a key for the combating climate changes. And this is again, I try to show you just how this lifestyle is rotating in a circular. This is a changing demand, changing supply, and changing policy. So policy is backbone for accommodating the demand by making the supply, sustainable supply. And the stock was there on this green hydrogen also, so this is an opportunity for India. India announced as a national hydrogen mission with the objective to mitigating goal as well as making India as an export hub for green hydrogen and green ammonia. India aims to achieve production of the 5 million tons of the green hydrogen by 2030 and related development of renewable energy capacity required. India green hydrogen can serve the dual purpose, both in enhancing energy security as well as contributing to the development of the low carbon economy, which we are envisaging in the 2070 as a zero. Government is currently introducing various incentives. So this incentive is also necessary for promoting this our mission of the zero green carbon. There is a scale of producing green hydrogen, ammonia, including the introduction of PLI scheme for manufacturing of the electrolysis, mandate green hydrogen purchase obligation, and industry allow green hydrogen ammonia manufacturing to purchase renewable energy from power exchange to set up a renewable capacity themselves. Coming to the last one slides. The challenges are there, no doubt that we are shown the so many target, and then subsequently the incentive from the government, but there are the few challenges also. Even as it set the site of the net zero, the sharp increase in the commodity prices has made energy less affordable. There is still a lack of reliable electricity supply in the few of the areas. Continued reliance to the traditional fuel of the cooking causes unnecessary harm to the climate and health of the people. Financially ailing electricity distribution, companies are impeding to urgent transform the sector. And India is also lying on the groundwork for scale of the important emerging technologies such as hydrogen, battery storage, low carbon steel, cement, and fertilizer. So these are my last slide as a conclusion. Sustainable business practices are essential for bringing balance between the development and the growth of the one hand and imperative of the nature on the other hand. So it cannot go in the one side, both should be balancing. Decarbonization result is a cost saving and new renewed stream, brand loyalty and additional ecology and social benefits. A transition clean energy is a huge economic opportunity, and the green hydrogen will play a major role in achieving the net zero and decarbonization in the hand to able to sector. And this 5 million tons will result in abatement to the 28 million tons of the CO2. So more of the green hydrogen, less of the emission of the CO2. And this proportionate will give, as we facilitate green hydrogen economy, and will result as a 400 million tons of the CO2 abatement by 2050. So in the last, as a large developing economy, India, with over 1.3 billion people, India climate adaptation and mitigation ambitions are not just as a transformer for India, but for the entire planet, but committed to work together as enable India to grow. Industrialization provide a better quality of their life to its citizen without the need of the carbonization. So with this, I think I could able to complete within a time frame.
Thank you, sir. Now the presentation is open for the few questions. Anybody? I think there is no question. Thanks, Dr. Jain Saab, for the nice and informative talk you have given. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for patience hearing. Thank you very much.
Now the next presenter is Mohammad Dastgir Saab.
Thank you both of you, and we'll just have a little bit of felicitation program of say 2-3 minutes. May I request Vice President Mr. M. K. Roy to come here and felicitate Dr. थोड़ा तालियां बजा दीजिए साहब. Thank you. Call upon Dr. Rasik Ravindra sir to please come and felicitate your Dr. Rajiv Nigam sir sitting beside you. That a big round of applause, please. GGS to come on stage and felicitate Dr. A.M. Popre sir. Popre sir. We are trying to accommodate. Dil bahut bada hai, but we are trying to. So, may I call upon Professor Sumedh Humne to come on stage, please, and felicitate Dr. Sri P.K. Gupta sir. Thank you, Gupta sir. Thank you. We are almost trying to catch up with the time schedule because of some of the persons could not present. So, we will take a break of 15 minutes for a quick poster session because the posters are ready and the judges, please, we can have a break of 15 minutes. We can just have a look at the poster session, and by the time I think the tea will be ready, so we'll try to serve the tea as well, and then we'll assemble it after 15-20 minutes.
Samples carbon content and organic matter which are present in the soil of an area, and we have undergone through the XRF techniques for its